Okay. Took me a minute to figure out how to actually start. I don't know why. That was weird. So today's a new day. In 10 minutes, it'll be another new day, I guess, technically. I like to say that tomorrow will be better than today. So if that means that whatever happens here doesn't necessarily matter all too much, because there's always tomorrow, and it'll be better than today. I don't know. It's weird. But, there isn't always tomorrow. Things can happen. You want to know how I got these scars? I had what could be called a near-death experience today, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Could have been. I could have legitimately suffered a devastating injury. But I didn't. Right after it happened, I was like, I'm lucky as fuck. Then I just kept going. I guess I should explain. So I'm out on a hike in a new area I've never been before. It was gorgeous land, really beautiful. And I'm following what, like, I think is, some type of big animal tracks. I'm following them because it's a more interesting trail than the trails that are there. I like to follow the animal trails. But it leads me to the edge of a cliff, essentially. And I get to it immediately. I think, okay, I should turn around, find a better way down the side of this hill other than trying to climb down the cliff. It was steep, like really steep. And my instinct and intuition immediately told me, don't try it. Don't try it. And yet I I s- I took a couple steps forward. I was like, what can it hurt? Let me test. Let me test my luck, see if I can get a couple good footings. And before I knew it, I was really testing my luck. It was probably 20 feet tall, this steep cliff, 18, 20 feet. And I straight up fell right down the side of it. It was my first time experiencing like a legitimate, dangerous, possibly, you know, very, very possibly. What am I trying to say? It was a situation where like I could have like fucking broken my neck if I landed in just some different position, or I could have fucking cracked my skull open if where I landed was on a fucking rock instead of just some plush ground and snow. So like I fell, you know, good. Like I lost my footing as I'm falling. Like my body length is on the side of the top of the cliff. I'm trying to grab for like some roots that were up there, and there was nothing to grab, so then I just, I'm falling and I'm thinking like, "Yep, okay, I'm gonna fall." And then I just remember like I had my eyes open and it was the first time and it was almost fascinating. Like I'm just falling. So like at first on the side of the cliff I was vertical, aligned with it. So that's why I probably felt like closer to 15 feet, because I was vertical and then fell like this. And then I was just like, woo. It was like I straight up just fell like this. And I'm just looking and I'm like, wow, I'm falling. I wonder what's going to happen. That's essentially the thoughts I had to an extent. I was like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm falling. And luckily, I landed on soft ground. I hit my head against the snow, ground, whatever. Maybe I like brushed it against rock, and that's when I got the scrape. I've got a bad bruise on my elbow, so that hit something hard for sure. But that's the worst of it. Just a bad bruise on my elbow. Falling 15 feet off the edge of a cliff. Like, what? I could have literally broken my neck. That's what I thought once I was on the ground safe. Realized that I wasn't mortally injured and that I could get up and walk. I was like, wow, that could have been way fucking worse. Like, that could have been so much worse. And that's just what I was thinking for like the next 5, 10 minutes. I was like, Jesus, I am so lucky because that could have been so much worse. That literally could have been devastating. And all I came away with was a couple scrapes and bruises. So how lucky am I? Pretty fucking lucky. But it was a fun time. I don't know. It, I know I shouldn't like feel good about doing something stupid like that, like moving forward when I knew I shouldn't have, and like I knew I should have turned back, found a different way down. But I chose to try and go down the edge just a little bit, taught me a lesson. I fell. So I know I shouldn't be happy about making that stupid decision, but it was. It was a rush. It was, kind of fun. I never want to do it again, but it could have been way worse. I came away with it with minimal injury and an experience in my head that I'm happy that I went through. Good times. Very good times. Like I said, don't necessarily want to do it again, but I'm glad it happened. It was kind of fun. But enough of that. So today I'm gonna read a little bit of what I wrote because I didn't write much. Fuck. Guess I'll have to extrapolate. So I was listening to Owen Benjamin this morning. Real smart guy. And he was going over how there's big news that Saudi Arabia has chosen to trade oil in currencies other than the US dollar. And he was explaining how big of a thing that really is. Like what that actually means. And of course I'm just a retard. I don't get it that well. But he dove pretty deep and he gave a little bit of a history lesson and a little bit of a present day lesson. And he explained it really well about what the American empire is. Because that's exactly what it is. America is an empire. And it's one that can't acknowledge the fact that it is an empire. Which is really, it's fascinating because that's why it gets itself into so much, so many lies. It has to deceive people. It has to invert the truth because it cannot accept what it is, which is an empire. It has to rely on the false notion that it is like just a sovereign nation that is interested in only the well-being of itself and of its people. But really, it's a fucking empire trying to control the world and take it over. So I just jotted down a few bullet points because I was like, damn, this is fucking interesting. And he's making some really good points. I need to try and remember a little bit. So, what is the American Empire? And I just want to, I said this before a long time ago, but like, we got this side and we got this side, the eagle and the pyramid. And both of those go way back. And you know, that's why America is the continuation of empires that came before, and possibly the continuation of the same empire, or, a new iteration of the same global empire that has been here for a long time. So, what is the American Empire? Almost everything other than China, Russia, and India. And of course, there's many other smaller places also resist, and big places too. I mean, like Brazil, sub-Saharan Africa, like a bunch of countries that away, uh, North Korea, but like main three are China, Russia, India. Three massive places that are not a part of the American Empire. So that's why it's not like a one world empire. It doesn't have global control, but it wants to, but it can't admit that. That's why it's interesting. It has to like lie. So it's a tyrannical empire presenting itself as fair or just. That's a big point there. It has to present itself as like a good country, like just and doing what's right. Like whenever we get into war with other countries, it has to be for a good reason. But there is no good reason to get into war with other countries. So well, what do? They make shit up to make you think they have a good reason. You know, the thing that happened in 2001, that was one of their ways to make everybody think that we had to go to war with the Middle East. That's just a harsh truth. But it's not even harsh, like most people know that by now. You know, this thing with Russia is like we're making Putin out to be the new Hitler. Like he's fucking going crazy and he's going to try and take over the world, and he's power hungry and he wants territories and he's going to start invading everywhere. Like that's the narrative right now, because they're trying to start making people think like that there's a good reason to go to war, which there never is. Like, why are we concerned about what's happening outside of our country in the first place? If we're just like, it's common fucking sense. That's why it made complete sense to me when Owen was talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, any retard can get this. Like, this isn't fucking complicated. So, like, why is America interested in what's going on outside of its borders? Why is it interested in controlling or influencing other countries, what they do, how they act? Because it's not just a place that sticks to itself and wants its people to grow and do good things. It's not about that. It's about control of everywhere else. It wants ultimate control. It's a fucking empire. Literally. That's what an empire does. It wants control over everywhere, over its vassal states. Most of the countries in Europe, you know, a lot of places. So it's a tyrannical empire presenting itself as fair and just. It has to lie and invert because its people are actually moral at heart. That's why it has to lie and invert everything, because we, the people of America, have in our hearts what this country was actually founded on, which was, you know, done with good intention and pure heart. That we just wanted freedom for ourselves. We wanted, we wanted to escape persecution. That's how this country started, escaping persecution of, fucking whatever the king was at the time, persecuting people for believing certain things and following a certain religion. Like, the Protestants wanted to get away from that. They wanted to follow their own path. And to do that, they needed America. And America at the start held true to that it was going to be a free country, as free as a country can be. Still not supposed to murder, still not supposed to do bad things, but okay, puppy. Come on. Go. Go. What are you doing? Sure. This little bitch was meowing at the door, and then he won't leave when I open it for him. Yeah, America is supposed to have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all that good stuff. That's what we were built on. We weren't built on the idea that we were going to invade other countries and control how they act, what they do. Like, that was never the idea until it was. Until it got corrupted and infiltrated and became the new empire of the world. I'm not entirely sure when that happened. I have thoughts, but I don't know. Like, I think a big part of it probably was when dollar bills were created, and all this stuff about gold reserve. Owen was talking a lot about that, and I can't comprehend all of it, but it makes sense. Like, we went off the gold reserve and everything got backed by the US dollar, which is essentially backed by nothing other than power and force and influence that America has. So cute, Fabio. You're so cute, buddy. Fucking adorable. But so the dollar is its main form of control. Vassal states' currencies are backed by dollar, US dollar, and that's backed by the military. Because, there's not enough gold in the world to keep up with the debt that we're creating for ourselves. Like trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of debt that isn't real money. It's just made up numbers. That's why money isn't real, because it's just made up by the grabblers. They can do whatever they want with the numbers. They can put money, inject it into wherever they want, give it to whoever they want. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but like, we're in the system and we have to deal with it. We're still working our jobs. Bastard. Still gotta make money to pay rent and live. But it's fucked up. Like, the way the government uses money is fucked up. The way normal little people use money is more. Why are you being like that? I'm so confused, Fabio. Get out. Oh. He's being so feisty. Shoo, shoo. He needs a timeout. He was trying to bite my head off, essentially. So the dollar backs other countries. Other countries' currencies. And the only way we can back that is by our military. So what does that mean? It means we're a mafia. Like, we're just pretty much telling these smaller places, like, oh, you need help? You need protection? Huh? Oh, Ukraine, you need are you in need? Well, we can help with that, but you're gonna have to do something for us. So we're essentially a big old mafia that protects, but those it protects are under its control. Like, so the reason why it's such a big deal that oil from Saudi Arabia is now going to be traded in other currencies other than the US dollar, because a big part of the US dollar was being, like, it had value in some way still because it was the thing that backed, like, something called like the petrodollar. I don't fucking get it, but something about how, like, the oil was being traded. It's being traded and it's like backed by the US dollar somehow. But now apparently, like, that's just obsolete, and the US dollar is going to have way less of a influence in the world than it has before, I guess. What that means, I don't necessarily know. Like, for us in America, we're still gonna, fucking use the paper bills that they give us. Like, we're still gonna buy, sell, and trade based on the dollar. But for, governmental dealings, like, I think it's gonna change things. I think it's gonna throw a wrench in the system, and it's gonna cause the American empire to have a lot less influence and control over its vassal states, essentially, which means, like, our grip on the world is loosening. It's like slipping. And what's going to have to happen is that we're going to, have to come up with some more good lies for us to, get that grip again. We're going to have to really come up with some good narratives to sell the people so that we can, I don't know, go to war with Russia. That would be a big one. And essentially, once that happens, it will be the start of World War III. Like, we're already kind of, sort of, technically at the start of World War III with this whole, like, Russia and Ukraine, and, like, we're funding Ukraine, and, like, we're pretty much already in the war with these other countries that aren't a part of the empire, but it's not called a war right now. There hasn't been a legitimate war that's called a war since World War II, apparently. Everything else has just been actions of the empire. Like, it's never been labeled as a war. I think that's really interesting that it's just fucking, like, it's not labeled a war. They're just actions. Like a police, I forget what the terms are, but it's just that there hasn't been legitimate war since World War II. So, of course, there's going to be another war, and it's going to be World War III. The American empire is going to make it happen. It will, because that there will come a time where that is the last straw to grab onto. It will put all its cards, like, it'll be all in. And at that point, I think we're gonna lose. I don't I don't see us getting through that because so many people already see through the lies. So many people are not going along with the narratives anymore. So many people are seeing that America actually is an empire and they're not admitting it, and they're like basing everything on false a false premise. Like, they say America is one thing when it's the complete opposite. It's an empire. So my thinking is once World War III happens, there's going to be a major shift in the way, you know, world government works, essentially. There's going to be a shift in power. It's likely going to shift from, you know, the US dollar backing everything and the American empire and its vassal states being on the top, having the most power, to, more on the side of China, Russia, and India having more of the power. And America is going to be on the lower end of you know, we're going to be seen as what we are. And by that time, we're going to have way less power and control over everyone. So we're going to be a shell of ourselves. We're going to be pretty sad. But that's only like on the government, country, like world order level. On the level of like human beings, me and you, I don't know how much is going to change, honestly. As long as you don't want it to change, as long as you don't accept the offers you're given by this empire. Because there will come a time when you will have to decide whether you will fight for the empire and go to war for them, like you yourself, or if you will say no. Like, literally choose not to engage. Choose not to accept the offer to go to war and fight for your empire. It would be easier to do that if they could admit that, like, what they're doing, like, that this is an empire and that we want to control everyone else and we want to have it our way, you know? Maybe more people would. I don't know. No. They're I was gonna say maybe more people would buy in at that point, but no. No, since the majority of people at heart in America are moral people, that's why they can't admit it's an empire because everybody at that point would be like, "Oh, no, we're not. We're not doing this. We're not going to be a part of this. We didn't sign up to fight for an empire that wants control over the world. Like, fuck, we just want to start a family, grow food, milk a goat, raise chickens to get eggs. Like, we do not want for these things. You fucking, I don't know, crazy people. Like, just, I don't get it. I don't get why it's like this, why actual human beings like want to go to war and desire power that much and want so much control over the world. I don't understand why that is a thing. Obviously they're all psychopaths. That's at the base level. So you can't really understand why they feel good from causing pain and suffering to other people. Like, they're just plain old evil. And yet, the people at the bottom level are good. And they would never accept evil if, they were actually presented with the truth of what the evil was. That's why evil has to disguise itself. That's why it's always veiled and presented in some illusionary way where you don't it's so hard to grasp and or just see the truth. So you can't make an actual choice based on the truth. You're just making your choice based on lies and deceit. It's the same thing with the fucking, you know, best example there is because we just went through it is COVID. It was all based on lies and deceit. It was all a fucking narrative, all a way to make you or to convince you to choose to get this unknown substance in your arm, injected into your arm, that you have no idea is what it's going to do to you. You have no idea why you're getting it because you haven't been presented with the truth whatsoever. So there's no way you can know. Yet you think you're doing it for the right reasons. You think you're doing it for the overall good of people. You think you're doing it for your grandma. You think you're doing it for all those vulnerable people that could die because of you not getting your vaccine. So get jabbed up, friends. Not literally, please don't. But the point is, it was all a lie. What the end game is, I don't know. What I do know is a lot of people are dying now, which is sad. It just is. A lot of people are dying suddenly of coinciditis. That's the new term. They died of coinciditis. Yeah, I think I'm saying it. Coinciditis. That's all it is. It's just a coincidence. There's nothing more to see. There's no reason to backtrack a year or two and pinpoint a certain thing that many millions of people decided to choose because they were lied to and told that this was the right thing to do and that they were helping everybody else by doing it and they're protecting their grandma. Like, nope, nope, no reason to go into that. It's just a coincidence that people's hearts are stopping for no specific reason, that people are getting massive blood clots and just dropping dead for no apparent reason. Like, we don't need to look into that. We don't need to extrapolate and think about the past couple of years. It's just coinciditis. Why can't you accept that? Okay, I have a bad feeling that if I talk about this anymore, or that, you know, I have a bad feeling that this may already get me banned off of this platform just by talking about coinciditis. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit more lax now. A year ago, I probably couldn't be saying any of this. Somehow, YouTube would strike me for like medical misinformation or something about community guidelines. Maybe now they're a bit more lax since the majority of people can fucking see it. I don't know. We'll see. It's not like if they strike me down, I'm gonna just stop talking. Like, that'd be a bitch move. So, I don't care. I really don't. I just want good for myself and for those around me. That's really it. Anybody I am in contact with, I want good for them, and I want them to be able to see the truth. And I want the same for myself. I strive to see the truth, and I want good for myself. And through those two things, I can only hope that I am led towards beauty, that I can notice the inherent beauty in this place that we live. Through the good and the true, I think you can begin to just notice the beauty that is always around you. If you let in the good and see the true, or if you choose good and choose truth, then you are shown beauty. I think there's something, something there. Mm. Fuck. Fuck. It's like, I wonder where my life is going. I do. I wonder what's going to happen in the next few years. I wonder if I'm going to be able to keep it all together, if I'm going to continue trying to be a normal person. You know, I wonder if I hope I'll make good choices. I hope I will continue to accept the truth that I see around me. And I hope that I can notice more of the beauty that is inherent in this place that we live. But I don't know what's going to happen. And I wonder. I do. I wonder where I'm going to be by the end of this year, even. Like, just a couple days ago, like, there was a big part of me that felt like I wanted to move across the country to work and like get an apprenticeship, you know, like any type of apprenticeship. Move across the country and just work. Like when I thought that was a legitimate possibility, I got the most excited I had in a long time. Legitimately. When I thought about that as a real possibility of something I could do, just pick up and move all the way across the country just to work. I got so excited. I was like, yeah, that is what I want to do. That sounds great. Literally. And, I still think that. I still want to do that. But I also wonder if there's more work to be done here at home before I venture off. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like there's more work to be done here before I choose to just leave and live in a completely different part of the country to work my ass off for the next 4 years. Because that's essentially what I'd be doing. And that's probably why it sounds so good to me. Because I would have a legitimate purpose for the foreseeable future. Like for the next 4 years, I would work that apprenticeship just work almost every day at getting better at my job, getting better at the skill I'm trying to learn, and just do my job with pride and do it as best as I can for 4 years. And that would be the only big thing that I had to worry about and focus on. I think that's why it draws to me so much. It's because that's just what I want to do. I want to have a simple inner world. I want to have a simple life where I can just focus on that one thing that I know I have to do, that I know I want to do, which is work hard and just do it day in and day out. Just fucking work hard. Why do I feel like I need to move across the country to do that? I'm not entirely sure. Something about it being like a complete fresh start and everything is new and, just being out in the world on my own. There's something to that where it makes me feel like if I did that, I could do the other side where I just work for 4 years because that's really new to me. To do something like that, that is really new to me. To fucking work hard, full time, for 4 years straight, learn a skill, do my best to master it in the time I'm given. Like, that's new to me. So, kind of feels like if I, you know, move to a new place in the world that I can do something new like that easier because I'm already changing my life drastically. Maybe it's too much of an extreme, like it's, you know, too much of two extreme things at once, like moving by myself across the country while changing the behavior of my life and just working as much as I can for 4 years. Like, those are two things I've never done. Why do I feel like I have to do both of them together synchronistically? I don't know, but it's just something that feels like it would be easier to do. It doesn't sound as exciting to get involved in an apprenticeship here in my hometown or in the city I used to live in and just work for 4 years here. Like, that does not excite me. That does not make me want to do it. But the thought of uprooting my life and moving across the country, that does excite me to work hard for the next 4 years. I don't know if, I don't know. I have decisions to make that will have to be made. When? I don't know. Tonight? I don't think that's possible. But things are going to happen eventually. And I will do my best to be grateful for whatever comes my way because everything is a gift. And I can't forget that. Don't forget that. And also, don't be a bitch.